Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Nvidia,
Okay.
a company that's pretty much become like the symbol of the AI boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
The big question we're tackling is, can they actually hold on to this crazy success, or are things about to get a little rocky?
Right.
And to really break this down, we're going to look at their growth, their competition,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, any risks they might be facing.
What's really grabbed me about NVIDIA is just how they've seized this AI moment.
Yeah,
I mean, their stock.
it's nuts.
It's insane. Over the past 2 years, it's gone up 923%,
Wow.
which honestly puts them among the biggest companies worldwide.
You can't ignore a jump like that,
Yeah.
but we all know what goes up must come down, right?
Right.
So is this like peak NVIDIA, or is there more gas in the tank?
It's a good question.
To answer that, we got to get into what's behind all this success.
Exactly.
What's fueling them.
A big piece is their compute and networking division.
Okay.
Their revenue numbers are just mind-blowing.
Really? Like, how much are we talking?
Just in the first quarter of 2025, they pulled in $22.68 billion.
What?
It's more than 5 times what they made the year before.
And that's JTT one division.
Just one. And
Yeah.
it gets even crazier the next quarter.
Oh.
Revenue hit $26.3 billion.
Okay, so clearly business is booming.
Oh, yeah.
And it sounds like their H100 data center GPU is a big part of this success.
Definitely the H100 is a beast.
But is that their only secret weapon, or what?
Oh, they're not stopping there. They're already talking about the next generation H200 and the Blackwell B200 architectures.
So what's so special about the B200?
Well, the Blackwell is all about efficiency.
Okay.
They're claiming it'll deliver 30 times the performance for AI, but with way less energy use.
So they're not just throwing more power at the problem, they're making the chips themselves smarter.
Yeah, much smarter.
That's impressive. But let's talk competition for a second.
All right.
Who's out there trying to catch up?
Well, you've got AMD and Intel.
Right.
They're not really trying to beat Nvidia at their own game, though.
So what are they doing?
They're trying to undercut them on price.
Oh, so it's like a classic David and Goliath situation.
Exactly.
But does that actually work?
That's the million-dollar question. How much will companies sacrifice performance for a lower price?
Yeah, especially in AI, where cutting edge seems so crucial.
We'll have to see how that all plays out.
It'll be interesting to watch for sure. But here's where it gets really interesting for me.
What's that?
NVIDIA's advantage goes beyond just the hardware.
Oh, absolutely.
They've built this whole software ecosystem that's almost impossible to compete with.
Their CUDA platform is like the operating system for AI development.
So how locked in are people? Could they switch if they wanted to?
It would be incredibly difficult and expensive.
It's like Hotel California.
You got it.
You can check in.
But you can never leave.
Exactly. And it seems like they're doubling down on this strategy.
Oh, yeah.
They've got Spectrum X Ethernet designed for AI and their AI enterprise software suite.
They're really building this comprehensive toolkit that makes it really tempting to stay within their world.
It's kind of like what Microsoft and Apple did.
Yeah, great comparison. Their dominance wasn't just about the best hardware. It was about creating an entire experience you don't want to leave.
Okay, so NVIDIA is in a seriously strong position.
No doubt.
But how much of the AI market can they really grab?
It's a huge question, and the market is growing so fast.
Any predictions on that?
Well, by 2032, it's projected to reach $2.7 trillion.
$2.7 trillion.
That's with a growth rate of over 20% every year.
So that's a huge GE pie
Enormous.
with lots of hungry companies.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants a slice.
And I've even seen some analysts predicting NVIDIA could hit $272 billion in revenue by 2030.
Wow.
That's more than 4 times what they made in all of 2024.
That's quite a prediction.
Are we getting ahead of ourselves, or is that actually realistic?
Well, a lot depends on whether AI adoption keeps going at this crazy pace.
Right.
We also have to consider how fast AI technology itself changes.
Right.
And of course, there are always unexpected challenges that could pop up.
So massive potential, but also lots of uncertainty.
Definitely.
One more thing to think about, though.
What's that?
NVIDIA relies on a few very big customers.
Yeah, that's right.
And that could be a vulnerability.
It could.
We're talking about Microsoft, Google, Meta.
Huge players.
And they're all betting big on AI.
They are?
Microsoft is putting it into everything they do.
Yeah.
Google is, well, Google.
Right.
And Meta is pouring money into AI for like content moderation, the metaverse, all sorts of stuff.
No wonder they need NVIDIA's firepower.
Right. But what happens if their AI plans hit a snag?
Exactly.
Or if their growth slows down? Or they shift their focus?
That could have a huge impact on NVIDIA.
So even with their incredible growth and tech dominance, there are some weak spots to keep in mind.
Definitely things to watch.
And we can't talk about a company like Nvidia without mentioning their valuation.
Of course.
Their price-to-earnings ratio is currently at 36, which is pretty high.
It's above average, but some would argue it's justified given their growth.
Right.
The question is what happens if AI growth slows down?
Can they keep those profit margins if the market cools off?
Big question.
It's the classic investor's dilemma.
Momentum versus value.
Exactly.
Uh.
On the one hand, Nvidia's stock is defying all expectations.
Making it tempting for quick gains.
But value investors are looking at the long game and wondering if that price is sustainable.
It really comes down to your investing style and your risk tolerance.
That's something for each person to figure out themselves.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
And it's clear Nvidia is a powerhouse, but their future depends on AI keeping growing.
And maintaining their edge.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting to look back at other tech companies that seemed unstoppable at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember the dot-com bubble?
Yeah.
Crazy valuations, promises of changing the world.
And then what happened?
A lot of them crash and burn.
So is that what we're looking at with Nvidia?
Is this another AI bubble about to burst?
Right.
Well, it's tough to say for sure.
Of course.
History doesn't always repeat itself, and the landscape is different now.
In what way?
AI is driving real change across so many industries.
Yeah, you can't deny that.
It's not just hype. There's real substance behind NVIDIA's success.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But even if they don't crash and burn, can they really keep up this level of growth?
And valuation.
Yeah.
That's the question that keeps long-term investors up at night.
It's a tough one.
Uh,
They've got this incredible momentum and impact, but there's always the risk of competition catching up.
and those profit margins shrinking.
Right.
Plus that reliance on just a few big customers.
It makes you think about how they even got here.
It's been quite a journey.
Why?
They weren't always the AI giant they are today.
What did they start out doing?
Gaming.
Gaming?
Making GPUs for video games.
No way.
But their CEO, Jensen Huang, he had a bigger vision.
Like what?
He saw that these chips designed for complex graphics, they could also power the kind of processing needed for AI.
Wow. So he was ahead of the curve.
Way ahead.
Yeah.
As AI took off, NVIDIA was perfectly positioned to ride that wave.
They had the hardware, the
For
software,
the vision.
right place, right time, but also the foresight to capitalize on it.
Exactly. And they haven't stopped innovating.
Still pushing the boundaries.
Always developing new chips, new software, new applications.
But even with all that innovation, there are still some big unknowns.
Oh, yeah, some big ones.
Like what?
The future of AI itself.
It's still early days, right?
Very early. We're just scratching the surface of what AI can do.
So who knows what breakthroughs are coming?
Or what new applications will emerge.
How will all that impact NVIDIA?
Can they adapt?
Will they be the disruptors or the disrupted?
These are the questions that will determine their fate.
And questions we can't answer just yet.
But we can explore the possibilities, analyze the trends.
Try to make sense of it all.
Exactly, and that's what makes this so fascinating.
It's not just about numbers and projections.
It's about understanding the bigger picture.
I like that.
And remember, NVIDIA's success isn't just about them.
It's about the whole AI ecosystem.
The companies they work with, the startups, the researchers.
It's all connected.
NVIDIA's tech is fueling the AI revolution.
But that revolution is also fueling NVIDIA.
Right. It's
Yeah.
creating new jobs, new industries, possibilities we can't even imagine yet.
It's pretty exciting to be witnessing this.
It is.
But like any powerful technology.
There are potential downsides.
What do you mean?
Well, as AI becomes more widespread, we need to think about the ethical implications.
Okay.
Job displacement, the need to develop and use AI responsibly.
So it's not all sunshine and roses.
Not exactly. It's about finding that balance between progress and responsibility.
Right.
And I think NVIDIA is actually a good example of a company grappling with that.
Pushing the boundaries, but also aware of the risks.
Exactly. Their journey reflects the larger conversation we need to have about AI as a society.
It's a compelling story that's still being written.
Absolutely.
But before we get too caught up in the NVIDIA story,
Yeah.
let's remember, they're just one piece of the puzzle.
There are so many other companies working on AI.
Each with their own strengths and approaches.
It's a dynamic field.
So if NVIDIA isn't the only game in town, who else should we be paying attention to?
Well, one that comes to mind right away is AMD.
AMD. Okay.
They've been making some moves in the data center market,
I've heard that.
especially with their EPYC CPUs and their Instinct MI300X GPUs.
So are they going head-to-head with NVIDIA on performance?
Not necessarily. Their strategy seems to be more about
Okay.
high performance, but at a better price.
The classic undercut.
It's working for them, though, especially with cloud providers and those huge hyperscalers.
Yeah, those guys are all about cost efficiency.
Exactly.
But is this really a threat to NVIDIA or just a minor annoyance?
I don't think we should write them off.
Okay.
They're putting real pressure on Nvidia.
How so?
Well, take that MI300X I just mentioned.
Okay.
It's designed for AI inference.
So basically using a trained AI model to make decisions.
Right, and the performance is impressive.
So they're not just focusing on training new models.
Nope, they're covering the whole AI workflow.
And what about software?
They've got that covered, too.
Okay.
Their RCM platform is becoming a real alternative to CUDA.
Interesting. So it's not enough to just have the best chips you need, the whole ecosystem?
Takes the whole package.
But what about Intel?
Oh, yeah.
They're a giant in this industry.
They are.
They're not just going to let NVIDIA and AMD run away with AI, are they?
Not a chance. They're pouring money into AI,
Okay.
both hardware and software.
So what are they up to?
Well, their Habana Labs subsidiary is working on specialized AI accelerators.
Like what?
The Gaudi 3, for example.
And what's that about?
It's all about deep learning training, but super efficient in terms of performance per watt.
So we've got a three-way battle here,
Nvidia, AMD, Intel.
all fighting for AI chip dominance.
Exactly.
But wait a minute.
What?
There are also all these startups popping up
Oh, yeah, a whole wave of them.
with their own crazy ideas about AI hardware and software.
It's amazing. Companies like GraphCore, Cerebra's, Sambanova systems.
I've heard of a few of those.
They're shaking things up with new chip architectures, new software platforms.
Trying to find new ways to handle all that data and processing.
Exactly. It's like the Cambrian explosion of AI chips.
So much innovation, so many different approaches, it's kind of hard to keep up.
It is, but it's a good thing.
How so?
Competition drives progress,
Right. The more brains working on this, the faster we'll see breakthroughs.
and those breakthroughs help everyone.
Researchers, companies, people using AI in their everyday lives.
Exactly. AI is already changing the world, and it's only going to get more impactful.
Yeah. But all this competition makes it really hard to pick a winner.
That's the fun part.
So is NVIDIA going to stay on top, or could someone else take over?
Maybe one of these startups, maybe a company we haven't even heard of yet.
It's going to be interesting to see.
Nvidia is strong, but they can't afford to get complacent.
They need to keep innovating, keep listening to their customers.
Exactly. This is a fast-moving field, and if you snooze, you lose.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive,
I agree.
and we've only scratched the surface.
We have a lot more to explore.
But before we go, I want to leave everyone with something to think about.
Okay.
We've talked about companies and chips and all that, but what about the bigger picture?
The impact of AI on society.
Exactly. On our lives, on the future of humanity.
That's the most important question.
AI has so much potential, both good and bad.
It's powerful technology, and we need to be careful.
We need to think about the implications for jobs, the economy,
Healthcare, privacy, security.
even the nature of creativity and human connection.
This is a conversation we all need to be a part of.
Bringing together experts from all different fields.
To make sure we're using AI wisely and ethically.
The future of AI is not set in stone.
It's something we're all shaping together.
So as we continue to explore this amazing world,
Let's remember it's not just about the technology,
it's about the values we choose
the decisions we make.
and the future we want to create.
This has been a great discussion.
It really has.
I hope it's inspired people to learn more,
To ask questions.
to engage in this vital conversation.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, everyone.